Hey guys, welcome back. This is the MMA Breakdown. Today we're doing a recap for UFC Fight Night 67, Condit versus Alvas. I was 7 for 8 for this event from the picks that I made. I don't pick fights with newcomers because I don't know them. If you want to follow me, follow my official picks via UFC Fantasy. I share them on Twitter, my Twitter account, which I just created for this channel, at MMA Breakdown 0. Follow me on there. I live tweet during the events, and I just hope to converse with you guys about MMA and have fun over there. So go follow me on Twitter. But I always share my videos on there, and I share my videos and my predictions, but my official UFC Fantasy predictions. So I was 9 for 12 for this event, picking on UFC Fantasy, but for these video recaps, I'm just going to go with the picks that I made in my videos. So I was 7 for 8. But on UFC Fantasy, I was, I think, 960 something around there for the event. And for the year, I'm at, I think, 1205 right now, 1205. And if you're wondering, last year on UFC Fantasy, I finished in the top 250. I think I was 220 or 230 something. And if you want to see my trophy for the top 500, you can check out my UFC 182 predictions. I show my trophy there. But yeah, I was 7 for 8. This event, I wasn't high on it going into it. I know most of the MMA community, they just eat up all of these UFC fight nights, but I prefer stuff like UFC 187, every so often rather than a forgettable fight night every week. But I didn't enjoy this card. I really didn't. The top 3 fights, Oliveira, Charles Oliveira, Alex Oliveira, and Carlos Condit, those were relevant fights. Enjoyed that. The rest of the card I could have done without, and the prelims were pretty boring. But anyways, let's run through this. I'll try to keep it brief. And if I didn't mention it, you can follow me on Twitter at my link will be in the description. All right, and also check out my predictions for this weekend's upcoming card. Fight Night New Orleans, Boch versus Henderson, and I also have my predictions out for Fight Night or UFC 188, Velasquez versus Verdum, and I think you guys will enjoy that video. All right, well, at welterweight, Tom Breeze got the first round knockout over Luis Dutra. I didn't pick this fight. Not much to say here. Dutra didn't look good. Breeze had a lot of success clinching with him, pushing him up against the fence, out-positioning him there. Was landing some good leg kicks, and then at the end of that first round, clipped him with a big punch. Dutra went down. Breeze followed up, and that was it. Dutra seemed to be arguing the decision or the stoppage afterwards, and I tweeted that he did the same thing when he elbowed Kunimoto to death with clearly illegal blows, and argued that. So I don't know. Seems to have a bit of a bad attitude. But Breeze got the finish. Can't say I'm excited to see him again, though. He got a finish. I know some people are high on him, but it's just filler to me, honestly, and I don't really care. All right, moving on. Women's strawweight fight. Juliana Lima got the unanimous decision over Erica Almeida, 30-27 on 2 cards and 30-25, ouch, on another. Just looked like the Nina Ansaroff fight. Lima's a good wrestler, has a good top control game, and that was the story here. I think in that first round, Almeida was able to luck on an armbar at one point. I think went for a heel hook at another point, so looked like Lima got a bit lazy on top there a few times, but it didn't matter in the end. Was just able to ride out top position, get her down, and hold her down at will. And looks like that's Lima's game. I don't think she can, she couldn't do that at all against Jędrzejczyk. Got completely shut out, and I think only got one takedown briefly against Miocic, and she got right back up. So I don't see her being a contender, but can probably beat a lot of newcomers in the women's strawweight division. All right, next up at featherweight, Mirsad Bektic got the TKO over Lucas Martins in the second round. Picked Bektic to win. He looked phenomenal. This guy's wrestling and ground and pound is just so smooth and technical. He really has it down to a science and looks great. I'm real high on this guy. Not that I think he can become the champion, but I think he can make a serious run towards that top 15, top 10. And Martins, in the Elkins fight, I think he was exposed. It's not even a fight where Elkins was able to get him down, but was just able to close the distance, get him up against the fence, get in on his legs, and Martins couldn't create any separation. So Bektic totally manhandled him here, and Martins, I think, really has to go back to the drawing board. Seems to really shut down when guys pressure him and play the wrestling game with him. So great win for Bektic. Very excited to see him fight again. And a welterweight fight. Moving on, Nicholas Dolby got the split decision over Eliezer Zaleski dos Santos, 29-28 and 28-29. Another fight that was just filler to me. I had heard some hype about Dolby, but again, it's just filler to me. He had some decent kicks. Looked like a semi-dynamic striker. Had some decent takedowns. Dos Santos though was able to find the mark with his punches on a couple of occasions. Seemed to give Dolby a little bit of trouble on the feet, and I actually thought the split decision was appropriate because of that. It was kind of hard to tell who won a few of those rounds, but Dolby struggled on the feet with Dos Santos on a few occasions, but got the decision win, and I really don't care about seeing either of these guys again. It's really just filler to me, and you know, if I'm excited to see a newcomer again, it's because they put on a real dominant performance, got a great finish, really impressed, but when newcomers win a lackluster decision like this, I can't care about it. All right, moving on to flyweight, Jussier Formiga got the unanimous decision over Wilson Heiss, 29-28 across the board. I'm actually surprised this wasn't a split decision because I thought Heiss made it close with his wrestling or his top position in a couple of those rounds. I thought the second round where Formiga dropped him and got his back, but Heiss was able to reverse and get on top and ride out the round that way. I thought we could have won that round, but Formiga dropped him a few times, which was kind of surprising. Heiss had dropped Yuri Alcantara in their fight, but the striking was pretty evenly matched and fairly uneventful most of the fight, except for when Formiga was able to drop him. And on the ground, Heiss seemed to have the advantage getting to top position. Formiga took his back at the end and landed a bit of ground and pound from his back, but I thought he should have been able to do that throughout the fight. But Formiga gets the win. It wasn't exciting. Typical Formiga fight. And I think they should just give him Demetrius Johnson. I think it'll be another easy finish for Demetrius. But I don't. It's the new matchup. I'd rather see him fight Demetrius than see Demetrius fight Benavidez or Dodson again right now. I'd really rather see Benavidez and Dodson fight each other and then have Formiga fight Mighty Mouse in the meantime. But I don't know. I don't think he'll be competitive at all with Mighty Mouse, but it's good enough to get the win over Heiss here. All right, and then the last fight on the prelims at featherweight, Honey Jason got the submission over Damon Jackson in the first round. Was really struggling with Jackson's wrestling, which I thought was a possibility for Jackson to win the fight. But I picked Jason. I thought Jason would have more success on the feet. But Jackson looked good. Earl was able to get him down, pounded away for a bit. But Jason is good at locking that triangle off of his back. In this day and age, most of the time you don't see that anymore. When guys get full guard, they just hold there and they're not able to threaten with submissions. But Jason did the same thing against Mike Wilkinson. Really great at locking on that triangle from his back, and did it against a legit wrestler here. And was able to finish that triangle from kind of an odd position where he didn't seem to have much leverage. But good one for Jason. I still think he struggled here. Will need a lot of improvement if he's really going to compete with the top guys. But he can just fight on these Brazil cards and serve that purpose for the rest of his time in the UFC and put on some fun fights. So nice to see Jason get the win. And Jackson didn't look too bad. Definitely looked better at featherweight than at lightweight in his last fight. So I think he can. There's still a little bit of hope for Jackson. All right, on to the main card at welterweight. Darren Till knocked out Wendell Oliveira with elbows on the ground in the second round. This to me was just a really boring fight in the first round. Till was throwing a lot of kicks, didn't seem to throw many punches at all on the feet, and Oliveira just seemed to be completely inactive and very hesitant to throw. Very different from his fight against Ponzinibbio, where he was, answering Ponzinibbio and was throwing bombs. But I just didn't care about the fight. I'd say it was filler, but then Till was able to capitalize, get him to the ground, and smash him with those vicious elbows. So it's nice to see him capitalize and get the finish there. So I'd say I'm semi-interested to see Till fight again. Just didn't do anything on the feet that really impressed me, but it was nice to see him get that finish. So I'll be paying attention next time he fights. And Oliveira, I don't care about seeing him again. Looked very hesitant on the feet. All right, next up, a lightweight, Francisco Trinaldo getting the split decision, 29-28, and then 29-28 for Park on one card. Got the split decision over Park. I picked Trinaldo to win. I know everyone thinks Park won the first round. I scored it for Park as well, but was it a robbery? No, not at all. It was a close round, and I really don't understand why or when or how everyone got so excited about Norman Park. I watched him on Tough Smashes, and it's time, for the Irish fans to accept that this guy's just not a good fighter. I remember when he fought on the Boston card, and I was kind of, critiquing him kind of harshly, and I picked T-Bow to win, and someone said that, my comments on Park made me sound stupid. Why? Park just doesn't do much really at all. He's not a good fighter. Not at the UFC level anyway. I mean, to me, I think he is at the most just mid-level, and I don't even know if that. On the feet, was landing a few jabs, a few overhands, but it was all Trinaldo. He had the better head movement. He was ripping to the body and landing the more effective shots on Park. Really, I think those shots, you saw them start to take a toll on Park in the second round. But yeah, the first round was close. Park got a few takedowns. And then that third round, Trinaldo just seemed to totally give up once Park got him to the ground. And I thought it was just terrible that Park wasn't able to finish from that position. Had his back, had one hook in, one arm around the neck, and couldn't finish him off when Trinaldo was barely defending. I thought that was awful. So yeah, I was never high on Park, and I'm kind of writing him off at this point. I don't think he can have success continuing with the same camp that he's at, Alliance. I think he needs to make a change. And Trinaldo gets another close decision, but the guy's getting up there in age, and you see that he gasses pretty easily, and we'll see how much longer he can keep it up. But he's already lost to guys like Chiesa and Piotr Hallman, so I don't see him doing anything significant. All right, moving on. It's a light heavyweight fight. Francem Barroso got the unanimous decision, 30-27 and 29-28 over Ryan Jimmo. And this was just a shit fight. It was absolutely terrible. It was painstakingly boring to watch. Ryan Jimmo has severely regressed. I mean, he used to be able to get knockouts, quick knockouts over Anthony Perosh and Sean O'Connell just a year ago. But you see how much O'Connell has improved since then. And, you know, Ryan Jimmo, I don't know if it's bad luck or voodoo or what, but he either always has a freak injury or, you know, in this fight just got kicked in the nuts. But I'm not buying that nut shot. I'm sure it affected him, but I don't think the outcome would have been any different had he not suffered that blow. The fight before the nut shot looked exactly like the fight afterwards. And Barroso didn't look good. He didn't look good at all. Terrible fight. Very surprised that Jimmo lost. And I don't care to see either of these guys again. All right, next up at welterweight, Alex Oliveira submitting KJ Noons in the first round with a very impressive performance. And just made KJ Noons look like he's too old to be doing this anymore. On the feet, I think Noons was able to land a punch that seemed to drop Oliveira briefly, but Oliveira quickly went to the back, got the body lock, dragged him down, took the back and submitted him with great ease. And yeah, Noons, I think, should probably just hang up the gloves now. You know, had the nice knockout over Stout, but I don't think that means much in hindsight. And yeah, just got blown out of the water here. And Oliveira looks really good. I loved his performance against Gilbert Burns. Nearly won the fight there. And really excited to see what he can do next. I think he's a high-level prospect. All right, on to the co-main event at featherweight. Charles Oliveira got the third round guillotine submission over Nick Lentz. I thought Oliveira would win this way more easily than he did, but I thought both guys looked great. Nick Lentz really impressed me. I thought it was by far the best performance he's given in the UFC. Oliveira had a lot of trouble maintaining distance in this fight. Lentz was able to get right on the inside, pot shot him, and Oliveira was able to, he tried to attempt some takedowns before that. Attempt some guillotine chokes before he got the finish, but Lentz was able to pretty much dominate with his wrestling, got some big slams and takedowns. Got knocked down got dropped with the knee to the body though at the end of that first round, but recovered really well to win the second. And then that third round, Oliveira, I thought after that second round, Lentz was going to win the fight, but Oliveira was able to jump on that guillotine, pulled guard from his feet, and submitted Lentz. And it was a great performance for Oliveira to really, grit it out and encounter some real heavy resistance. And when it seemed like his submission game wasn't working, he was able to pull it out. The fight ended submission out of nowhere from the feet. So really impressive win for Oliveira. And Lentz, I thought, for me, his stock rose here. Really gave a great performance against a guy who had already beaten him and who didn't look that good, Lentz, in his last couple of fights. If Lentz can put forth this kind of effort, I think he should have no trouble beating other guys. Like, you look at his fights against Manny Gambarian and Diego Nunes. If he can fight like this against Oliveira, he should have done way better against those other guys. But I think Lentz still has a lot of value and opportunity to be a contender in the division if he can fight like that going forward. And again, great win for Oliveira. Just a submission wizard. And people are saying he should fight Max Holloway. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think Holloway has earned, a higher ranked opponent. But featherweight, there's not a whole lot you can do right now. I mean, you got a lot of guys waiting in the wings for title shots. Chad Mendes and Edgar, maybe they fight each other. And then Holloway's right up there. Ricardo Lamas. I'd like to see that fight, though, but then you're just kind of wasting Oliveira as a contender. If he loses that fight and Lamas wins, you don't want to see Lamas fight Aldo again. So maybe the Holloway fight is the right one, but also there I feel like there's no need to kill off either one of these guys right now. So it'll be interesting to see who he fights next, but was really impressed with both of these guys. And then the main event, welterweight fight, Condit getting the TKO in the second round over Thiago Alves. I thought Condit was going to lose the fight after Alves had a lot of success with the leg kicks in the first round, and Condit seemed to hobble back to his corner. But that second round was able to clip him. I didn't even see the punch. Actually, I think it was an elbow, but seemed to hurt Alves badly, broke his nose, and just pounced on him on the ground. Didn't let up. Was pushing him up against the fence when he had him on the ground. Relentless ground and pound. And then they stopped the fight in between rounds. So really great finish for Condit. Alves looked tough. He was gutting it out there. It's going to go to a third round. I'd love to see Condit versus Matt Brown. I think Matt Brown is really going to roll over Tim Means. And, this fight, I think, was scheduled to happen on 2 occasions before this. And Brown was also scheduled to face Alves at one point a couple of years ago. So I'd love to see that fight. And if Condit can get the win there over Brown, I think he's right back in the running. And a fight between Condit and Robbie Lawler, I'd love to see that. I think that would be an awesome title fight. But welterweight, like I was just saying about featherweight, a lot of fights at the top that need to happen. I think Hendricks needs to fight Woodley. But outside of that, Hendricks and Woodley, I think Condit and Brown could be right up there, the second set of contenders there. So I really think they should make that fight. And Thiago Alves, unfortunately, just seems like he's not as durable as he once was. Has never really been finished that way in the UFC. I mean, I know John Fitch got the TKO over him way back in the early days, but not nearly as violent as this fight. But, I think Alves can go on. I mean, Condit's a really high-level opponent. If he takes a step down in competition, I think he can, still put on a lot of exciting fights and have some nice performances. All right, guys. Well, those are that's my recap for Fight Night 67, Condit versus Alves. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like the video, comment, and subscribe. Check out my UFC 188 predictions, as well as my Fight Night New Orleans predictions. And follow me on Twitter. But thank you, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.